Okay, welcome all you wonderful people. Craig here for another Monday live stream. I do mean wonderful people, by the way. I will have you know, before I kind of get started with the meat and potatoes of this, that I was chatting with a couple other YouTubers recently, and we were kind of comparing notes on the kind of comments. You know, YouTube comments are notorious for being awful and all that stuff, but honestly, I had to say, like, over at Reviews.org, we have a lot of really great viewers. And so, you know, every once in a while we get some comments that make you roll your eyes, but for the most part, I love the sort of the sort of impact that you guys have on the channel beyond what we do as the creators. And so it's been great. I really appreciate all you guys' comments on all the videos that we do. So thank you very much for participating and working with us on this channel. I'm glad that we get to learn about a bunch of stuff together. And so today is going to be mostly about streaming stuff. There are some news items that we're going to go over. If you missed the title, we're going to be talking about CBS and Viacom, Disney Plus, some more announcements about Disney Plus, and then Roku's Kids channel, which is a new thing. So we'll be talking about all of those. And let's see, before we do that, because I do like to give people kind of a chance to come in, I'm just going to shoot the breeze here for a few minutes. So if you're coming to this live stream a little bit later and you want to get to what those news items are that you saw in the title, just go ahead and skip ahead a little bit unless you like this portion of the discussion as well. But as far as streaming stuff goes, I am curious what you guys are streaming. So last week I talked about how I finished The Boys on Amazon Prime, which I really enjoyed. I thought it was really good. I finished it. I finally finished it. I'm not sure how I feel about the ending of it, but I will say it's nice to have a show that that kind of you feel like it's going to keep going. You almost miss that these days now with with the Netflix shows. You think about things like Stranger Things, and take Stranger Things for instance. You get to the end of each season and it's like it's wrapped up, it's done. I wish Stranger Things had finished after one season, but this kind of The Boys kind of harks back to time in TV when it really was long form storytelling, and it's not like that's gone, but it's less common now than it was previously. Anyway, so I finished that one, and now I've just started season 2 of Mindhunter on Netflix. Whew, that's an intense one. So yeah, curious what you guys are streaming these days and what you recommend for people here in the chat. So go ahead and pop into the chat and let us know what you are streaming. I'm going to go into the chat and just make sure that I drop the giveaways link, because we are doing a lot of giveaways these days, and so make sure that you check out our giveaways page. You can bookmark that page because we're constantly refreshing it with new stuff. So if you want to check back and see if it's something that you are more or less interested in, then you can do so. But the way you enter for our giveaways, it's really simple. If you're already subscribed to the channel, then you just do things like comment and like and share our videos, and that gets you entries for the different giveaways that we're doing. So right now we're doing NFL Sunday Ticket. So if you are an NFL fan, then this is going to be of interest to you. If you are unable to get NFL Sunday Ticket, either because you're not a DirecTV subscriber or because it's not available in your area, then we do kind of an equivalent prize as well. So anyone can sign up to win. Anyway, I think you should go check it out. Like I said, maybe go bookmark that page so you can come back to it. Tim, hello Tim, welcome. Let's see, anime service High Dive, better anime. Okay, sure. High Dive came across my radar when I was doing an anime video recently. Okay, Tim, you must be a big anime fan because that kind of came out of nowhere. Or is that what you're streaming right now? You're watching a lot of High Dive stuff. No, that's great. Okay. So, like I said, I'm just kind of shooting the breeze for a minute, waiting for a few more people to log in, and then, in about a minute or two, I'll get started with kind of these news items that we're going to be talking about. Streaming High Dive stuff. Okay, no, that's good. I was like, maybe he just loves anime and really wants to promote it. But yeah, okay, that's great. taking a break from shows, streaming movies for a week or so. Richard, what are you watching these days? Gosh, I'm trying to think what was the last movie I streamed. I'm sure I could find it, but I tend to do more shows these days than movies. I'm one of those old dinosaurs who actually likes to go to the theater. I know a lot of people don't, but I do enjoy the theater experience still. So I tend to do a lot of that. All right. Let's kind of get started on these streaming news items. So go ahead and keep commenting, and I'll keep glancing over. Oh, Valerian and the City of a Thousand Planets. What'd you think of that one? I'm up and down on it. I'm not quite sure how I felt about that, but I did see that one back in the theaters. It was no Jupiter Ascending, at least. That's something. Okay. As far as big budget sci-fi films that didn't do so well. Okay, so let's first talk about CBS and Viacom. So if you haven't heard about this, and this is something that I thankfully was able to find over at The Verge. The Verge The Verge has reported this. CBS and Viacom merging to become Viacom CBS. Very creative name, certainly. All right, so CBS merging with Viacom. Now, if you don't know about this, Viacom and CBS were together back in the early 2000s until 2005 when they split, and now they are back together. So they were split apart for 14, 15 years. Now they're back together, and what this means. Essentially, I think this is a product of the streaming wars. So CBS has CBS All Access. But if you think about that for a second, let me pull up another page here. If we look at CBS All Access, then what they have for CBS All Access is a few interesting shows. I mean, Star Trek Discovery is kind of carrying that one. You do have other CBS shows like Big Brother, Survivor, NCIS, that sort of thing. So you do have some content there, but I think this is going to help them fill that out for the streaming wars that are heating up. And so, I mean, last week I said they were over. I'm not sure if I really believe that they're over, but anyway. So yeah, this is kind of bringing all those things together, CBS and Viacom content. Damon asks what I think about BET Plus. I don't know about BET Plus specifically, but since BET is a Viacom channel, I assume that BET content will be available in some capacity now on CBS All Access. Now, I don't know when this will all take effect, but once this merger is complete, and it'll probably take a couple of months for that to happen, then all of this Viacom access, things like BET, MTV, VH1. Let's see, what else is Viacom? Nickelodeon? Oh gosh, yeah. Now I've got to go look this up. But yeah, there's a lot of Viacom content out there that a lot of people really enjoy, and so hopefully that will be available on CBS All Access. Because with the channel lineup over at, actually, let's pull that back up. With the channel lineup over there, it will appeal to a few people, but it's not very wide appealing. And so I think there's just not enough on CBS All Access right now for it to really compete in a year. Right now it's probably doing okay, but once Disney Plus gets going, once Apple Plus gets going, it's going to be really hard for CBS to maintain their space in the streaming area. So I think this will ultimately be good for CBS. But let me know what you guys think of that. I'm gonna pop over to the comments and see what people are saying. Let's see, BET Plus difference between AT&T TV and DirecTV. Is DirecTV leaving? Curious G, remind me in a bit. We'll get to that. Let me get through these news items, and then I'll go through a few of these kind of tangential questions, or things referencing what we were talking about last week or a couple weeks ago. So I do want to answer that, and thank you for that question. But we'll get to that in a few minutes. So the next thing I want to talk about is Disney Plus. Disney Plus has been very, very good about dominating the news. We've got 3 more months almost until it's here. What is that? November 12th, I want to say, is when Disney Plus arrives. And so we can expect, I think, a steady stream, once a week, once every other week, a big announcement. Oh, hey, look what we're doing on Disney Plus. And it's just going to get everybody more and more pumped. I know I am. I'm not even like a huge Disney fan. I have friends who go to Disneyland many, many times a year. I don't, I'm not a big Disney fan, but I have to say their streaming service looks amazing. So what they've announced is that they've announced the devices that Disney Plus is going to be streaming on, and there's a huge omission here. So what I'm going to do is actually copy the list. If you're following along, you can see the list over in the comments. And I'm going to, there we go. So, okay, that's kind of an ugly list, but you get the idea. We've got Apple TV, Android mobile devices, Android TV, Chromecast, desktop, obviously, iPad, iPhone, PS4, Roku streaming players, and Roku TV, and Xbox One. So all of our bases are covered, right? No. There is no Amazon on here. No Amazon Fire, no Fire TVs, no Amazon Fire tablets. It is apparently not being supported on Amazon Fire devices. Question is, how long will that be the case? I can't imagine that they would leave it there for very long. They've got to be working something out. I don't know if they're still developing the app and they're just not sure if they're going to have it ready in time. I don't know if they had some sort of a sharp disagreement with Amazon. Who knows exactly why? But this is a huge omission, especially for people who like Amazon products. So if you use the Fire TV or something like that, then this could be bad news for you. What I wonder is, with Amazon Fire TV, the Fire TV Stick, the Fire Cube, whatever, with that ecosystem, it is relatively easy to sideload apps. And what we don't know is if you're going to be able to sideload this. David said there's an Android version. You can sideload it. It doesn't work so well. It's not necessarily a blanket thing, as far as I understand. It's not that every single Android TV or Android capable app is sideloadable, but it should be. That's my hope. I know that sometimes you can build protections in for that sort of thing, but hopefully it would be the case that because there's an Android version, you can sideload it onto Fire TV. Now the thing is, David, you're saying no big deal on that. And in a way, I think you're right. But I think for the average user, the person who got a Fire Stick or an Amazon Fire enabled TV, they're using that in part because of the simplicity, right? It's a very simple remote, simple interface. They are signed up for Amazon Prime, and so they just don't want to deal with stuff like that. So I think for an intermediate to advanced streaming user, then you just say, just sideload it. And they're like, okay, fine, whatever. But I think for a lot of people, it's like, if it's not in the store, I can't get it. And that's not a crazy way to deal with it or to think about it. So let's see. Yeah, APKs are easier for Fire tablets. Oh, okay. Anyway, so I guess we'll see what happens there. Like I said, I assume we'll be able to sideload it, and frankly, I assume that this won't be the case for a long time. Like I said, it could just be that Amazon Fire won't be ready at launch, and then they're just waiting to develop that app a little further before they finally announce a date when it will be available. Let's see. First thing you did on Fire 10 HD is sideload Google Play Store. Yeah, I think that's for a lot of people. That's like I said, for intermediate and advanced users, that's one of the first things you do is get those things sideloaded, get a sideload launcher and all that stuff for your Amazon Fire TV or your Android TV. A lot of that on Android TV as well. Okay, so let's move on to our final news item. This could be a shorter stream today, by the way. I've historically gone for 35-45 minutes. I may not do quite that much today, so I hope you guys are okay with that. But the last one I want to bring up is the Roku Kids channel. Now, if you don't have kids, this might not be of too much interest to you, but if you do, or if you babysit or whatever, then this is a pretty big deal. It's really nice. And what I'm wondering is if Roku is going to do a better job of it than YouTube did. So if you recall, YouTube a while ago launched YouTube Kids, and then they almost immediately came under fire for having inappropriate things pop up that kids were able to search on YouTube Kids. Not like wildly inappropriate, just some stuff that parents were like, oh, my 3-year-old doesn't, that's too scary for them or whatever. And so they didn't maybe have the algorithm or something dialed in quite enough on YouTube Kids to allow for that. And so they got in some hot water, and I think they're trying to fix it. So Roku, if you're familiar, Roku has the Roku channel. So if you use that, the Roku channel allows you to go in and watch shows and movies, Netflix style, commercial supported generally. It's really nice. I like the Roku channel quite a bit. They often have some pretty good stuff in there. And so what they've done is they've created a kids section. Now, I don't have it pulled up on my computer here, and so maybe I'll do a video showing how you can access that kids section later. It's not complicated. You go into the Roku channel, right up top, there's a thing that says kids and family. Click on that. So one question I have about it though is that, so once you're in there and you want to exit the kids and family section, it gives you a little dialog box that says, are you sure you have permission to leave? Talking to the kids watching TV. And two options, and it default highlights to, no, I don't. I'd better stay here. Or you can click down and say, yes, I have permission. Let's leave the kids section. And I'm like, I'm sitting here thinking, is that really much of a deterrent, for a kid who wants to watch something else on the Roku channel? And so I was wondering, maybe they ought to put like a pin code on there when you leave the kids channel or something along those lines. I don't know, but it is nice. Like I said, this is something that would be of interest if you are a parent or somebody who cares for a child, and you want to find more great kid content out there. This is another free version. The nice thing about this is that YouTube Kids, which, like I said, historically hasn't been an awesome option, but it is still there, and I think they are trying to improve that. But the YouTube Kids app is not available on Roku yet. It is available on other devices, but for some reason it's not available on Roku, which was something I was disappointed to find out as a heavy Roku user. And so I was happy to see that that Roku channel now has this kids option. So, all right, let me pop over, double check why it says YouTube Kids is still available on Google Play. That's great. Let's see, but it's not available on Roku. So, what do you think of IPTV services? Area 51 for UFC. Okay, that's another one that I'll come back to. Am I Florida? Does that look like a Florida logo to you? No, I'm from Seattle, but I broadcast from Salt Lake City. So I've lived in Salt Lake City now for a long time. Okay. Let's see. YouTube Kids still available on Google Play. Let's see. You have it on Roku? I just tried to download it yesterday. I couldn't find the app. If you have a link, shoot it over to me. Okay. So maybe we'll come back to some of those other questions now. I hope Curious G is still with us. Curious G asked, can you explain the difference between AT&T TV and DirecTV? Sure. So AT&T TV is the new streaming service from, it's so complicated, and it's frustrating. So maybe let's start backwards. DirecTV is the traditional TV service version. This is satellite TV from AT&T. And so DirecTV, satellite. Then you had DirecTV Now, which was the streaming service that is no more. And it has become AT&T TV Now, which is a live TV streaming service. So that's basically the same thing, but they just flip the names because AT&T TV is slightly different. Now I am going to look it up because I want to make sure that I get this, that I actually get this right. So AT&T TV is live TV and DVR, similar to what you would get from DirecTV, but it's all the streaming version. Why there's a difference between AT&T TV, which I can't believe I've said so many times already, why there's a difference between that and AT&T TV Now, I don't know. I don't yet understand why they have separated the two, what the difference is or should be between them, but there is a difference. And so when you log in to the AT&T TV app and you sign in, it will automatically know which service you're signed up for, because they both have different offerings available to you. And so it's probably just got something to do with what sort of deals AT&T has, what sort of agreements they have with different content providers, and which one they're able to offer on which different service. But when you sign into the app, it'll know exactly which service you're signed up for, one or both, and so it'll serve you up that content appropriately. Anyway, so yeah, we'll learn more as we go through the AT&T TV launch, and we get more people, more word coming in on how people like it, all that sort of thing. So let me go back then. There was another question. David was asking what I think of IPTV services, Area 51 specifically. With IPTV services, I mean, generally speaking, the broadest definition of it, all of these things fall into IPTV services. DirecTV Now did. The Sling TV, YouTube TV. These things all technically fall under the Internet Protocol umbrella, right? So it's TV that's being delivered via Internet Protocol. But specifically, if we zoom in a little bit, generally IPTV is referencing things like Area 51, or I could name a million others that tend to be of questionable legal merit. I don't know, and I'm not singling out Area 51. I don't know enough about it. I'm just saying there are a lot of services out there under the IPTV umbrella that we don't really review, we don't really talk about, partly because they're super niche, and so not a lot of people are asking about them, but also partly because we don't want to wade into any waters like that. We want to keep things super duper on the up and up. So I try to avoid talking too much about them, but I know about them. I officially have no opinion. How's that? Sorry about that, David. Okay. Reliance, you're in Vancouver. Excellent. Let's see. Big fan of that area. Please, let's see. Oh yeah, Curious G. Hopefully I explained. I'm sorry. Is your other part of that question? I'm sorry, guys. I'm hopping back to that other question about AT&T TV versus DirecTV. Is DirecTV leaving? Was the other part of that question for Curious G. No, not right now. Not in the near future. AT&T see, this is why it's so hard. AT&T announced last year, so late in 2018, they said, we have launched our last satellite. And so that should tell you something. They're not going to be maintaining their satellite network the way that they have for a generation or two now. And so as far as whether it will be leaving, I mean, the answer is yes, eventually. We just don't know when that's going to be the case. So hopefully that answers that. I mean, I don't know how to give you any more specific than that because I don't have it, but eventually we're all going to get away from traditional TV services, whether that's satellite. Satellite will probably go before cable, but eventually cable, and whatever other delivery services we have. I don't know, antenna might stick around for a long, long time, local channels through over-the-air antenna, but other traditional mega TV delivery services like cable and satellite, they'll either go away or they just won't look anything like we see them today. That's my prediction anyway, so take that for what it's worth. As far as time frame, I don't know. I'd be surprised if either of the big satellite TV services was around in 10 years. But like I said, that's just my opinion. Could they merge? Wyatt, could what merge? Let me know what you meant there. David, let's see. Yep, AT&T is axing DirecTV Now altogether. That part of the thing about the DirecTV Now kibosh and going to AT&T TV Now is that a lot of DirecTV Now customers were on grandfathered plans, like the $35 deal for Go Big. My assumption is, and I can't remember if I've read this specifically, but my assumption is that all those grandfathered plans would go away, and they want you on the higher priced plans. So, all right, Reliance Random. Is there anything in the Portland, Vancouver area that has anything to do with cable TV other than locals? I have no idea. Sorry. I do try to keep my finger on the pulse of national stuff, but as far as local stuff, not exactly my forte. I'm sorry. I wish I had answers for you, but I don't. But if you can go to cabletv.com. And they do more than just cable stuff. And so if you go to cabletv.com, they should be able to help you figure out exactly what's available in your area. It's a site that I've used fairly frequently. I think we've even done some collaborations with them in the past. I can't quite remember. But cabletv.com is where you can go check that out. In fact, I will throw a link in there. If you'd like to see that. Okay, where is it? Cabletv.com. So yeah, you can find internet and cable TV providers in your area. I think it's a pretty handy resource. So yeah, hopefully that makes sense for you. So Jamal says AT&T now, AT&T Now, yeah, whatever. The DirecTV Now DVR never came out of beta, which, for the first 6 months, I was willing to give them a little pass and say, okay, well, keep testing it out. But it's been like 2 years, and they couldn't get their DVR out of beta for some reason. And now with AT&T TV Now, it's the same DVR, so it's still in beta. It's really something. Can you read my opinion on my face? It should be clear. Let's see. Wyatt, okay, so I asked what merge you were talking about, AT&T and DirecTV. Well, actually, AT&T owns DirecTV. So no merger necessary there. They already own it. Anyway, all right, I think I'm going to call it there. We've been going almost a half hour now, so hopefully that was some decent info for you guys. Appreciate you in the comments, here in the chat, and obviously if you like what we do here on Reviews.org, we really appreciate your support. So make sure you go up to the top of the chat and check out the giveaways that we're doing. First of all, that's a thank you to you. We're doing a lot of giveaways there to thank you for supporting the channel, for subscribing and all that. But if you like what we do, the best thing you can do, honestly, is refer us to people you know. So link out to the channel. Tell people that you enjoy what we do, whether it's on Facebook or Twitter or whatever. We really appreciate that support. And obviously seeing you in the comments on our videos is a lot of fun as well. Let's see. I will go ahead and call it there right after I say Wyatt, merging all in one app. No, I don't think that would, well, I think that's kind of what AT&T TV is all about, is kind of like bringing that traditional TV content into a streaming sphere. So that could be what that's about. Anyway, all right, guys, thank you so much for watching. I'll be back again next Monday. Yes, I'll be here next Monday with another live stream. We're here on Wednesdays and Fridays with new videos as well. So make sure you tune in for those. Hit that bell icon so that you can come and comment and be part of that conversation. If you comment early, there's a much better chance that I'll be able to see it and reply to that. once the videos start stacking up and it falls further behind in the pile, it's harder for me to keep up with comments that come in on those older videos. So sooner you get there, the better. All right, I will see you next week.